Where there's thunder, there's lightning. John Nada. When you look at the world around you, birds have evolved flight, big cats speed, and other creatures camouflage and poison. What does this tell you about life and the world around you? What this tells me is that the world is inhospitable. If this were not the case, there would be no need to evolve. Is this not essentially what MGTOW is? An evolution to the ever-changing terrain around us. It is counterintuitive in a sense because most people have a longing and a drive for acceptance. Everyone wants to belong to the tribe. If it is popularity you seek, MGTOW is not the path for you. This path will put you at odds with most people in society at large. You will be viewed as weird and abnormal at best, and an extremist at worst. Yet, like anything else in life, if you're willing to endure the ridicule, you will find a treasure that cannot be found absent the hardship. The heart of the matter, some would call it, the idea that it is what I think of myself that is of actual value and sustenance. An external opinion, be it good or bad, is simply garnish. The problem many of us face is that we are all looking for the cure-all. I think this is why people at times become disillusioned with MGTOW. I'm not saying that MGTOW is a cure-all. The reality of it all is that you are on your own. We are on our own. No one is coming to save you. You must save yourself. Indeed, you get to save yourself. You have to decide what you want to do. You are free to decide this. And everything after is simply interpretation. We needed to evolve because we were being fooled. We had been fooled into thinking there was a virtuous woman out there, that we would one day find them. There's no guarantee of finding one, even in places you would think they exist. I got a comment in one of my last videos from a user by the name of Supreme Cannon. He said that a committed relationship in the past was pledging your life for red carpet, velvet rope access to a fertile young woman. That we used to be paid in gold and silver coin too. But now the currency, relationships, and life are all fiat, backed by nothing. You are not even guaranteed to find loyalty and friendship anymore. During the 80s and 90s, we witnessed the advent of the buddy movie. The movies presented an idea of what friendship should be. Therein lies the rub. It's a movie. Perhaps you could add fiat friendships to the list as well. When I was preaching, one of the hardest things to do was sum up and conclude a sermon, taking all the points and bringing them into one beam of light. You will never lose when you invest in you, but you will often play the fool when you live your life to please people who at the end of the day don't care about you. Now, that being said, there were two things that happened in the news not too long ago. This just showing the realities of what we have been talking about in MGTOW for quite some time. A tale of two pastors. Several years ago, a pastor by the name of Mark Driscoll had given a sermon, or maybe it was more than one sermon, but I'm only familiar with the one, about men manning up and being real men. And a few weeks ago, a pastor by the name of Stuart Clark gave a sermon very similar to Mark Driscoll's. Instead, it was tailored to a female audience rather than a male audience. Now, you can guess which sermon that the society threw a fit over. You see, Stuart Clark had the audacity to question and impugn the golden calf. Another example, Meghan Markle recently gave a talk on television about how terrible things were for her, how bad her life was. Here this person is a millionaire. Here this person more than likely has always had it easy in their life. Here this person gets to see their child on a daily basis. A veritable true-to-life duchess, married to royalty. And yet the world is not enough. She's still not happy. And it made me think of all the fathers out there who, due to no fault of their own, ended up in a divorce, had their children taken from them, oftentimes their children brainwashed to be against them, having to move out of the home that they worked so hard to purchase into a little studio apartment or maybe a 2-bedroom rent house. Or the many instances where fathers have not been able to pay the child support due to the unfairness of the court, or have not been able to find a house to live in, so they're living out of their car because they can't afford to do otherwise. And yet no interest in that. No concern for that from the society. So it's very true that you're on your own. And I think that's what scares a lot of people. And I think particularly men that I've heard over the years say that their biggest fear is dying alone. Now, I don't know that it's a male or female thing. I think that both men and women are equally terrified to be on their own. Because when you're on your own, you have to face up to and fess up to who you really are. And most people do not want to see the person that they truly become. Most people do not want anyone else to see the person that they truly become. But most people spend most of their lives, rather than changing who they've become, rather than righting the ship and investing in themselves, they spend their life to become a version of a person that others want them to be, that society wants them to be, or that their family wants them to be, or their so-called friends want them to be. Only to come to the end of it unsatisfied, unfulfilled, and unknown to themselves. So while that is a scary thought to most, to the one who is MGTOW, it is not that I must save myself. It is not that I must free myself. It is that I get the honor to free myself and to save myself. I don't have to rely on anyone or anything to do those things for me. As always, go your own way or don't. The choice is yours.